Hi, welcome to another episode of Beyond Just Fine. This weekend it's the Summer Solstice, which marks halfway through the year. Now, we often get these little markers throughout the year. Maybe it's a new month, maybe a birthday, halfway through the year, and it's those times where we perhaps stop and we think back and we think, well, where's that time gone? But more importantly, what have we achieved? And sometimes it can feel we haven't really achieved much at all. Our day to day still feels the same, and that can feel a bit disheartening. But sometimes we have made changes, but because they've been so slight that they haven't really impacted our day to day, we haven't really noticed them. Now, I was thinking about this myself. I was thinking, what have I achieved since January? Because my day to day still feels pretty much the same. And I wasn't even sure if I had actually made any changes whatsoever. But when I sat down and really thought about it, I realised that I had this YouTube channel for a start. That was something that I thought about doing last year. And at the beginning of the year, I didn't even know if I'd had the confidence to go ahead with it. But yet, here we are. Also, a wellbeing group I'm in. I'm co-coordinator to doing Facebook Lives on Sundays, which again is something that I wasn't sure I'd have the confidence to do. I've also recently set up a little online group to support people who are on a personal growth journey, again, which was something that I had an idea of doing last year. So, although those things haven't really impacted my day to day, I have made changes to myself since January. And sometimes it is just about taking that 5 minutes just to stop and reflect and notice those tiny little things that we have done where we didn't think that we could achieve things and we actually have some things that we've actually been able to tick off of that list of goals and dreams that we were trying to aspire to. But these marker points aren't just about looking back and reflecting. They are also about looking forward as well. I remember reading once this lady who, on her birthday, she would always say that she's version whatever. So, for example, say she was 40, instead of saying, well, I'm 40, she would say, I'm now version 4.0. And then on her 41st birthday, she'd say, I'm now version 4.1. So it's kind of setting that tone that she was due an upgrade. She could start thinking about some changes that she could make to perhaps change herself, enhance her life, reach her goals, whatever it might be, which I think is a really good way to look at things. It kind of gives us that sense that even if we can look back and think, well, I don't know, have we achieved an awful lot? In spite of that, well, we can start right now and have a look forward and see what we can do to upgrade or set us on the path of those things that we want. So this is also a good time to think ahead. Think 6 months down the line. Where would you like to be? Where do you see yourself being? If you could wave that magic Harry Potter wand, where would your life be in 6 months' time? And then it's reverse engineering that. And by that I mean work out some small steps that you can take to be able to get onto that path. Because sometimes those dreams, those visions we have are so far away that they can feel quite scary. They're so far out of our comfort zone that it can feel quite daunting and overwhelming. And that can actually put us off even trying. So it's just about thinking small steps that we can take, something perhaps insignificantly tiny that you can do that will help you get onto the path that you want and become that future version of you. I mean, for example, just doing these YouTube videos, I started off by recording some videos of myself at home, just pretending I was doing a coaching session, recording it, and that gave me the confidence to be able to record the videos, watch them back without that critical judging eye. And then I just took that leap of faith and set up the YouTube channel, and the rest, as they say, is history. So it's just doing those tiny little steps, those small steps that feel comfortable enough for you to be able to do, but are going to put you on that path of where you want to be. And doing that just then sets off a domino effect, because from starting those little things, you can then end up doing other things that you wanted to do. More often than not, we say to ourselves, well, I'll wait till I'm confident and then I'll give it a go. But a reality is we got to give it a go first, and giving it a go, taking that action will give us that confidence. That confidence loop is take the action, because then we have that evidence that, yeah, you know what, wasn't as bad as what we thought. That gives us that belief that we can do these things, and then we want to take more action. And before you know it, you just set on that like snowball effect where you just carry on doing all of these wonderful things. And in that 6 months, you could end up achieving some of those goals that you wanted to achieve. But these marker points aren't just about looking back and reflecting and deciding what it is that we want to add to our lives. It's also about looking back and working out what it is that's actually stopping us. There might be obstacles in our way, things that we're holding on to that perhaps we might be using as an excuse to not achieve the life that we want, to not go for those goals. They're called payoffs, the things that we're saying, well, I can't do that because. So it's also having a look at that as well. What is it that we need to let go of? Are those things we're holding on to the anchors that are keeping us stuck, keeping us in that life that we're currently in, and not letting us be able to propel ahead to where we want to go? So maybe it's about relationships that are draining us. Do we need to have those uncomfortable conversations that we avoid? Is it that self-doubt that we have? Do we need to perhaps just take that leap of faith and do that little one action to put us in that confidence loop to be able to achieve all those things? What is it that's holding those back? What are those obstacles that we're holding on to? Just have a think about that too, because it could be those that are in our path as well. It's not necessarily just trying to work out the things that we can do to add to our life, but also looking at the things that we can do to perhaps let go of some of those holds that are hanging on to us. And it can feel really scary. Change always does feel scary because something new. We've never experienced it before. We don't know what to expect. So feelings of anxiety and nervousness and fear, perfectly natural. So if that's coming up, it's probably a good sign, because that's usually the sign that growth and change are happening. So don't be worried about that. It's actually something to embrace and realize that actually is probably a signal that you're on the right path. So maybe have a think about that over this summer solstice weekend. Have a think about all the things that you maybe have changed in the last 6 months that you didn't quite realize. And then have a think about where you want to be in 6 months' time. Are there any little actions that you can take right now to help you on that path? Are there some of those obstacles, those things that maybe you need to let go of to help you on that right path? What's one small thing that you can do today that future self will thank you for? But as always, be kind to yourself, and until next time, take care.